Okay, how do I begin? I had decided to buy myself this journal a long while ago, to pretty much write down my thoughts. My name is Michael Weckler, and I am an engine driver on the Northwestern Railway. I work alongside my fireman Ted, and we both drive the railway's number 3, also known as Henry. I'm pretty sure you all know about him at this point, whether it would be his tunnel, his new shape, the flying kipper, or of course our favorite spot when we have no work to do or just want to relax, Henry's Forest. You're probably concerned about the whole Rule 55 thing that Wilbert Audrey complained about, but as it turns out, we do always whistle at the signal to let him know we're coming to stop at the siding. Very nice man he is. We always leave Henry to go up to the signal box and have a friendly chat with him about our day and how our families were going, like if we were old mates who usually spent time at the pub. And during all that, we would look out of the window and see our engine admiring the beautiful scenery or watch the workmen doing their work, and sometimes when he sees another engine coming through the main line, he would call out a greeting to them. There really was something about that forest that the big green engine loves about the island. We could all agree that it really was peaceful, as well as hope that nothing will change, especially the time when a huge storm damaged the forest and everyone came to build it up again, leaving Henry very grateful for the help of Toby, Trevor, and Terence. He does do work around here, of course, but like I said, we usually stop on a siding whenever we just want some time out of work, and it is certainly a blessing indeed. Today was Wednesday 11th, and we had done a lot of odd jobs here and there for the rest of the afternoon. After a morning break around the forest, I'm currently riding down around the sheds at Tidmouth on our lunch break, and what can I really say? Henry is doing fine and his fire is burning nicely. He's also looking over at the sunset, waiting and ready to pull the flying kipper for tonight. We weren't alone though, as Henry was having a friendly chat with Donald while we spoke with his crew. Nothing much to write here, really. We're getting ready to pull the kipper now, but as we were preparing to leave the turntable, we noticed that when Douglas backed next to Donald, he remained silent and kept staring down at his buffers. His twin asked him what was wrong, and he said that during one of his passenger runs, he could have sworn he saw a man wearing a hockey mask in the far distance around Henry's forest, staring at him. Henry and Donald assured him that it was just his imagination and told him that it was probably some kind of tourist wandering around the forest. This seemed to have calmed him down a bit, and after pulling the regulator, Henry set off towards the harbor. We are coasting down the line with the kipper now, and I even got a chance to look around the forest. We didn't see any man wearing a hockey mask though, so I'm sure that whatever Douglas saw, it was playing around in his smoke box. I'll probably stop writing for now, just so we can finish the job and head back home to our beds. I could see that Ted was getting tired too, and I don't blame him. Anyway, I'll be writing down in this journal again in case things get interesting. Shit, I knew Douglas wasn't seeing things. I just hope we find him soon. It's now Friday the 13th, which I suppose fits, because a thick fog is looming around the island, making our journeys very difficult, but we push on as always. I didn't manage to write down much for the entire day, due to how much we had to deal with, although the whole day was pretty much uneventful, so I have nothing much to say. However, as soon as we finished delivering our last goods train to Crosby for the evening and made our way to Henry's forest, that's when our night became horrible. We whistled to the signalman again. He switched the points for us as always, although he didn't say anything to any of us, so we just stopped Henry by the siding. To make things even weirder, we saw only one workman around the forest as we were making our way to the signal box to check with the signalman. We asked him where the other workmen are, but he only told us that we shouldn't be here and that we needed to get the hell out of there. Confused, we just let him stay around Henry for a bit while we went into the signal box. We didn't chat for very long, as we suddenly heard some kind of voice coming through the trees. The signalman went pale immediately after hearing that, and we quickly decided to let him come with us back to our engine. As we were climbing into Henry's cab, we saw the workman trying to talk to. No, it can't be. It was a man wearing a hockey mask that Douglas described, but he was clearly holding some bloody machete. We called out for him to stay away from that thing, but it was no use as he was stabbed by a hockey masked man, and we decided to make a run for it backwards. Didn't stop until we reached Elsbridge and got ourselves together on the platform, wondering what the hell just happened. Henry is freaking out more than us, but I don't blame him. The signalman stayed to calm him down, while me and Ted walked over to the station to get some food. As I was getting ourselves some pastries, he showed me a newspaper that a very infamous serial killer named Jason Voorhees had came back from his burial spot in Camp Crystal Lake and ended up in a ship to Sodor, killing many passengers on board. While it was understandable, it didn't make any sense at the same time, but after we finished getting filled up with decent food, we went back into our engine and continued to drive down the line in reverse, slowly and carefully this time, while whispering goodbye to the signalman as we left him on the platform. Oh God, I pray that he'll be okay. We haven't gone very far when we were past the timber yard, when Henry suddenly stopped in shock. We leaned out and we were also surprised to see who it was. Right next to us with 4 flatbeds and a brake van stood a very shaken Donald. Henry asked if he was all right, and he said that he along with his crew were fine. They just couldn't believe what they had to witness earlier today. We then told him to explain everything, and so he did. It was the middle of the day when it all happened. Donald was just waiting for workmen to load up his flatbeds with logs when they all heard a voice around the area, and before he and his crew knew it, the man wearing a hockey mask had begun to kill the workmen around them. Not knowing what to do, Donald started to run away while the fire began to call an ambulance to the workmen, even though some of them would already been dead. Just like us, Donald and his crew stopped around Elsbridge just so they could catch the wraith in the yards, and while they were there, Douglas stopped by and wondered what was wrong. He told him that he was right about the man and that he had to witness the workmen being killed around Henry's fort. Douglas was sorry for his twin as they both continued their work, with Donald reaching the timber yards and unloaded the logs, though he couldn't shake off the feeling of what just happened, and neither could his crew. We asked what happened afterwards, and he said that he simply stayed there and listened to the news through a radio about Jason, and many engines had passed by. For example, James rumbling by with a slow goods train as usual, as well as Duck pulling a local passenger train. With so much that has happened to us in one night, we had agreed to go straight to the sheds to clear our heads, or in Henry and Donald's case, clear their smoke box. During the journey, Henry told Donald his side of the story, and he was glad that we had survived. We were also sorry for the workmen that were killed around Donald, and told him as well that there wasn't anything he could have done. Once we had backed our engines into the shed, we found Edward, Percy, Toby, and to our relief, Douglas in the shed. While Douglas was comforting his twin, Edward wondered if we were all right, to which Henry explained that they had encounters with this Jason character. He then sighed and began to tell everyone about what he was told about him. Apparently, people from far away had said that Jason had died when he was just a small boy and was buried, but as it turns out, he seems to keep coming back from the dead to get his revenge. Some people have had their own encounters with him and had survived. Some tried to even stop him, but they just couldn't. All of us had pretty much remained silent as the old engine had finished saying that if we ever see him, we should be careful. Eventually, all the engines had fallen asleep, except Henry, and I have been having to write all of this down while Henry was still awake, and just like what Donald said, I'm just glad we're all still alive. I think I'm going to stop writing for now. I can see that Henry is finally drifting off to sleep. I just hope someone will catch that Jason bastard.